And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host and author, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to welcome tonight best-selling author Seraphina Novaglass here to give us the inside scoop on her latest book, The Vacancy, in Room 10. Seraphina, welcome to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
Well, thank you. And I first just want to say real quick that I just downloaded your book, Broadway Butterfly, on Audible. And I'm one of those people who just wants to listen to it. And I already love it. So
Yay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. It comes out tomorrow. It feels like it's been 1,000 years waiting for it to come out. And, you know, it takes place in a rundown motel turned apartments, which I once saw a Motel 6 turned into in the desert somewhere. So that was kind of the inspiration. You know, the dumpy pool, the U-shaped 2-story with nothing around it but like a strip club and a convenience store. So the setting was sort of the inspiration for this one. And two poor souls, Cass and Anna, end up there for two very different reasons. And there's a missing person and a dead person, and things sort of go. I mean, I feel like this one is really hard to talk about without spoilers. So without spoiling anything, everything goes downhill from there.
Everything goes downhill murderously and with lots of mayhem, and that's what we're here for, Seraphina. That's what we're here for. So I cannot wait to get into every delicious detail because I got a lot of questions for you, girl. But first, I just want to welcome everyone because we are broadcasting live to 8 different destinations across Facebook and YouTube. So, hey, mystery and thriller loving friends, no matter where you're watching from, you're in the right place. This is the right time. It is Mystery Monday, and because Mondays can be murder, we're going to make it a little less painful for you and get your week off to a killer start. So if you've been here before with me, you know the drill. And if you're new, welcome, friends. We are so happy to have you. Here's the drill. Every Monday, I give you my handpicked featured authors, and you get to ask them anything. So ask Seraphina about this hotel, the strip club, which plays a very important role early on in this book. It's everything, sets the wheels in motion, so to speak. Her writing practice, she's also a professor. She's traveled all over the world. Ask her anything because you know how it is. What happens on Mavens stays on Mavens, sort of like Vegas, but murdery. So let's jump right into the comments. Lauren joining us from Facebook saying, yay, it is time. Hey, Laurel, welcome. So good to have you. Renee joining us from Facebook saying, hi from Southeast Florida. Hi, Renee, welcome. Laurel saying, it is so wonderful to see you, Seraphina.
I know I'm not on camera very often. I'm a behind the scenes kind of girl. So hi, nice to see your photo.
Yay. Randy's joining us from YouTube with his very on-brand black cat saying greetings from Indiana. Hi, Randy. Sharon Bishop joining us from YouTube with her Hello Kitty signature. Loving that. Hi, Sharon. Welcome. She says, hi, girls. Catch a Clue, a.k.a. Wendy saying, hey, ladies. Looking forward to this book. From Wendy. Hi, Wendy. Ooh, we have a mysterious user, very on brand, saying fantastic novel, Seraphina.
Yes, thank you.
Renee saying we love murder in the books. Amen, girl. Okay, let's get right into those questions. Seraphina, is there a reason for the room number 10?
Yeah, so when in the first scene, she pulls up to a Shell gas station, but the S is burned out, and so it just says hell in like neon letters. And that actually happened in high school when we were on a trip. I won't get into this story too deep, but we were driving to Florida, and I woke up in the back of the bus, and I didn't know where I was, and it was pitch black, and all I saw was hell. And it was one of those roadside, signs, so it was very, very oversized. And so that just sort of like started off the book. And similarly, when Cass gets to the motel and she's in room 110 with the one who's fallen off, that's sort of just the omen for what else was to come in this particular setting. And so it was room 10, even though not really.
I think I'm sensing that maybe the question is does the number 10 have a special meaning to you? Is this your lucky number? Is this a bad omen? Is there?
I just like the fact that the one fell off and that it just, became sort of what she's left with in life. Is that sort of how it went? So no, it's not significant. I just think in those 2-story hotels, you get the ones on the first floor, 2s in the second, but the number itself, nothing more than that. No.
I love it. We have another mystery user saying howdy from Central Texas, your fellow Texan there, Professor Seraphina. Renee wants to know, where are you a professor? And I'll add on to that. What do you teach?
I'm an assistant professor at University of Texas, Arlington. And my background is playwriting and theater, so I still teach theater stuff. Not mostly, fully online now. I've been sort of writing full time and teaching less these days, but I teach film studies, playwriting, that kind of thing.
That's so cool.
Remotely.
Yay. Okay, we have Lynn joining us from YouTube saying, hi from Rochester, New York. So excited for this. Well, we're so happy to have you, Lynn. Thanks so much for tuning in. Our mystery user from Central Texas is revealing herself. It is Christine Stamper Lady. Hi, Christine. So good to see you. Oh, we have Mike O'Neill also joining us. Hi, Mike. Good to have you here. Robin saying hello from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. She says her taxes are done and she's here to celebrate. What a perfect way to celebrate. Laurel wants to know, so what was the most challenging part of writing this one? I think this is your ... fifth.
It is my fifth. It's always hard. It's always, as an author, just hard to jump into like a new setting. And I think this one was actually my favorite to write. So, not that it's easier than the rest, but you start to sort of catch on to your own style and what works for you, especially in the outlining process and all of that. And I just love the setting. Like I wanted to hang out with these people. So I think what was the hardest, I guess I would say, is letting humor come through, because I think the pool girls and sort of the utter ridiculousness that ensues at different parts was something I didn't really think maybe had a place in thriller. And I was kind of had a what the hell attitude. I'm just going to let the freak flag fly and be as kind of oddball with these people as I want to be without holding back. And I thought there'd be a lot of editing and notes about that, but there weren't. It all stayed there. So just taking the risk to kind of let dark humor be in these sorts of stories instead of all being so serious. So.
Ooh, and I think it's so interesting that you're saying that the hardest part was leaning for the humor, because actually humor and fear are two of the hardest things, I think, to write on the page, because it's actually really hard to be funny and it's hard to be scary without being cheesy. So, what have you learned from book 1 to book 5 about how to do both humor and fear successfully? How do you make us laugh? How do you give us the goosebumps?
I think that's a tough question, because I don't know where the humor comes from, especially in this new book that I just finished. I finished 6 last month, and it's sort of the same thing. It takes place in a retirement home, and I feel like these elderly people, this group that are solving murder, is kind of the new pool girls, in a way, and it just sort of happens situationally. I have them in a room, and they're catty with each other, and I think actually what was harder is the first 2 books. Someone's Listening and Such a Good Wife, not letting that be a part of it, kind of trying to be in this serious tone because I'm thinking that's what this needs to have, instead of just letting them sort of naturally say things in a dark situation that you would say. There's always humor kind of in every situation. So yeah, I think that I kind of learned to just be able to be myself more and rest on that, and not kind of be so afraid of it having to fit into something, a mold, I guess.
I love that. Because I know I love to laugh. I mean, we all love to laugh, right? So I think that there should be, and I now that you're saying it, I agree. There isn't that much humor in thrillers. And when I find one that makes me laugh, sometimes out loud, I love that. Y'all tell us what you think in the comments. Do you like to laugh? Do you find a lot of thrillers? What are your thoughts on humor in thrillers? Okay, so we have someone saying, oh, so cool. My son is doing his master's at UT Arlington, but in social work. Oh, from Christine again. Yay. Oh, Christine, you have a special connection to our special guest tonight and to UT. I love that. Thank you for commenting. Mike wants to know, are you a plotter or a pantser? Although that autocorrected corrected to prancer, and now I'm just going to call it that.
I know. I am such a plotter. I always say that I admire people who can pants it and just sort of see where the story takes them or where their characters take them. If I don't have the outline and the ending all wrapped up in a very, very tight outline before I start, I would be having panic attacks while I'm writing, not knowing, you know what I mean? And I think like, especially for plotting a mystery, I need to know that this needs to happen in this chapter so I can reveal this in this chapter. And, you know, it needs to sort of, to me, be very plotted out, which is the hardest part. I think I spend more time on that in advance, the heavy lifting at the beginning than actually writing the book probably, but certainly a plotter.
That is so interesting. Mike, thank you for the great question. And now Cancer is just going to be Prancer because I'd rather be a Prancer
you have to, yeah.
than a
I'm not a Prancer.
I'm going to be a Prancer than a Pantser because that's way cooler anyway. But it's so interesting because when Jeffrey Deaver came on the show, he shared that he spends up to 6 months plotting and will plot. His plots run to 180 pages.
Oh.
So that in time and investment in plotting helps him to then execute more efficiently and more quickly when it actually comes to writing. He also writes in an entirely blacked out room, blindfolded, tactile. I'm assuming it's the same for you.
Wow. Okay. I thought that I was quite a plotter. Nowhere near that. I just need to have an outline that has about the chapters I'm probably going to write and like the main thing that I need to get across in that chapter. Then the rest, to me, the rest is freedom. I feel very free to like, you know, develop it out once I know the few key points that I need to hit. And maybe the little like, you know, I guess cliffhanger at the end of each of those chapters. But wow, that's intense. I love hearing people's writing, you know, sort of like, you know, how other people go about their practice because that's quite different. I love it though.
Right? It's
weird. I love it.
I know he's so fascinating, and he's such a, you know, he's such a brilliant and and accomplished writer. His brain is like a well-oiled machine, and I just think of him in that blacked out room, you know, blindfolded, just waiting for, just, you know, tapping as fast as his little fingers can feel. And I love to visualize that. Wait, okay, so let's talk about this a little more. So how long did it take you to plot this out?
You know, I've never taken more than 6 months total from start to finish. So in the first 3 books, 3 months total. And I think I just read something that it shouldn't take you more than a season to write a book. And I really liked that. So I was like, that's what I'll try to do. Yeah. And so, but I probably the last 2 or 3 took about a month kind of to plot it out. So I'm exaggerating when I say more time than to write it, but you're just finding that idea. I mean, you know, like just coming up with, you know, the place, the people, everything that's going to happen to me is sort of just much harder than executing it. So maybe about a month or so to sort of outline it, and then usually 3 to 4 to write it has kind of been pretty consistent along all 6 books.
Ooh,
I say 6 because, you know, I just finished my 6th, but this one's fun.
Laurel is saying, oh, I cannot wait to read this one. Thank you for your style. What a lovely comment. Thank you, Laurel, for that lovely comment. And what a perfect segue, because y'all, the book is not even out yet. Seraphina Novaglass is coming on tonight to give us the exclusive inside sneak peek and take all of your most burning questions. So now it's time to pre-order from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore. That is, of course, Murder by the Book in Houston, Texas, Seraphina's home state. So no matter where you're watching from, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube to any one of our 8 destinations, here is that link. So click and pre-order the Vacancy in Room 10. And the good folks at Murder by the Book will ship this out to you as soon as that book drops and they get themselves to the store. So here is that link, y'all. Click and pre-order. Support woman-owned independent bookstores. Okay. Oh my gosh, we have so many comments to get to. I'm so excited. Okay, Sharon, good question, wants to know, Seraphina, how do you want people to feel at the end of this novel?
I love that question because I put a lot of thought into that. You know, I feel like, you know, I want to leave goodness in the world, and I write thrillers, you know, and it scares people, and it's escapism, and I love that. You know, I don't want to just. So I think that's kind of important to leave with some hope at the end of the thriller. No, I'm not ever going to kill every character. You know, it's just, I think that there is a little bit of a heartwarming moment. I think I can say that without a spoiler with one of the characters. And so I just think it's, you know, it's so fun to create these characters and throw rocks at them and, you know, go on this journey with them. but I also think kind of leaving that little glimmer of warmth or hope at the end is kind of a special way to end a thriller. And I love that. I never want it to be doom and gloom. And I guess maybe that makes it a little bit more on the popcorn thriller side. And I'm okay with that. So yeah, hope that answers that. It's hard to get really specific. I like, again, I say with this book without kind of spoiling certain things, but
I think that is a very good answer. Thank you for the great question, Sharon. Actually, after Sharon's been with us in Mavens for probably the whole 4 years I've been doing this, and I actually just got to meet Sharon in person when I hosted Lisa Unger's book launch in Boston. And Sharon was like, "I'm Sharon with the Hello Kitty." And I was like, "Sharon, the Hello Kitty." So it was so fun to finally meet Sharon after 4 years of being Mavens together. So thank you for the great question. All right, so everybody's been weighing in on the laughter, the humor in thrillers. Wendy's saying, "I'd like to laugh." Me too, Wendy. Renee saying, "Laughing is good." Okay, I'm reading so many comments. And yes, we like to, R. Lynn saying, "Janet Ivanovich is a master of humor in her detective Boggs One books." Yes, Janet Ivanovich she's freaking funny. And I love that you brought her up. Thank you, R. Lynn. Robin saying she likes both. I hear you, Robin. Great point. Renee wants to know, do you ever get writer's block? Thank you for all the hearts up, you guys. I'm just getting bouquets of hearts on Facebook. Thank you for that. It's so lovely. Renee wants to know, do you ever get writer's blocks? Writer's block. How do you get over it? I'd like to know too.
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like perhaps for the very first time trying to come up with my idea for book 7 right now as we speak, there's a little bit of like, God, did I really write all my ideas already? Have I peaked? So no, I mean, not really. There's a few rolling around in there that I'm playing with, but I don't, I think I have kind of a funny writing style where, people ask, do you write every day? Do you journal? And I certainly don't do any of that. I write a book kind of really fast, and then I don't want to talk to these people, or I could never do a series or think about them or have anything. I'm over them, the characters, for a while. And I really don't even think about writing for a little while after that. It's not a daily practice. There's no set time. Whenever I feel like it, I mean, certainly I'll come and sit down. I'm like, oh, I got to kind of have a deadline coming up. I should sort of make sure I put a couple hours in today, but there's nothing regimented, which I think is what works for me. And so maybe lends itself to not having as much writer's block because I don't force myself really to sit down and like, you got to do this today, and then I'm hitting a block where I can't be creative. Yeah, and I'm a big meditator, so I really think that meditation and getting into that really good place, a quiet, still mind, has helped when I have kind of hit those blocks sometimes too.
Absolutely. I'm a daily meditator. I'm a yoga teacher, and I always say a calm mind is a creative mind. Because if I am riddled with anxiety, which is what I am, if I'm not meditating, or doing my yoga practice, then that is a clenched, terrified, anxious mind is not going to give you some good writing.
I am a hot yogi myself, and I will say that's another way to just, leave just feeling light and oxygenated and all of those things. So, those relaxation practices that they cliche kind of tell you to do really do work, and they really do help the mind. So,
yay!
100% agree.
And I'm a gentle yogi. I'm not a hot yogi. I used to be.
Okay.
Now I'm too old and tired to be a hot yogi. John is joining us from Northeast Ohio. Hi, John. So good to see your name pop up. Thanks so much for being here. Renee's giving us the yoga and hearts emojis. Yes, exactly. That is us, just meditating and yogiing and doing it. Oh my gosh. Okay, Seraphina, I want to talk about some of the praise that your books have earned. So first of all, hello, most anticipated 2024 novels by Nerd Daily. Congratulations on that. And they are not the only ones, because I'm going to pop that up so we can all peek at it together. They are not the only ones. Most anticipated crime fiction novels of 2024 by Novel Suspects. So we got a lot of eyes and a lot of readers just waiting for this book and hotly anticipating it, which is so exciting. So how are you feeling now that it's almost out?
I've never felt like I waited so long for a book to come out. I think I finished this one. I know when I finished it, like over a year ago. And so it does seem like an eternity. Of course, you write, you know, the next thing and everything like that. But it's exciting. I think, you know, sometimes you don't know what you did right. That makes people say that when another book you thought, well, that, you know, didn't get the same accolades. It's an interesting sort of like roller coaster ride, wondering, oh wow, this is getting all this attention. I don't know what I did differently than something else. So it's exciting. You know, I'm really hoping. I was honored to get the editor's pick on Amazon, and have it be a best book of April. So that feels like, you know, it's getting this early attention that is nothing but, you know, exciting, and I just can't wait to see what happens with it finally tomorrow. Oh, I lost your sound.
Oops, so sorry. Publishers Weekly weighing in saying this is an entertaining thriller that maintains tension and intrigue through to the satisfying end. The author's fans will devour this. Again, just going on with that most anticipated fervor that we're all just building up to. So congratulations on that bit of praise from PW. So exciting. Thank you for all the hearts, you guys. It's so nice to see all the hearts and all the love. Andrew joining us from Facebook saying, I can't wait for this book. I loved The Vanishing Hour. Yay! Renee saying she can't wait to read your new book. I pre-ordered it a while ago. Yay! Pre-orders really matter, you guys, because publishers look at those numbers and they count toward bestseller ranks, and all of these things matter in this crazy publishing world that we are in. So here is that link again. No matter where you're watching from, on Facebook or YouTube, you can pre-order The Vacancy in Room 10 and get your mitts on this book as soon as it drops. Now, Seraphina, some people submitted questions in advance because they will be watching the replay later. So we got your back, y'all. Don't worry if you're not here live. That's okay. So let's jump into some of those questions. Amanda says she really wants to write a book. It's been a couple of years. She's still not published. What advice, if any, might you have for her?
It sounds like she wants to write one. She hasn't written it yet.
I think that's all it said, but I think she said it sounds like she's written it and she's trying to get published, maybe feeling a bit discouraged.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily the best person to ask for like persistence with trying to get published. I got really lucky really quick. I'm not going to pretend that I didn't. You know, I didn't have to write multiple books or anything, but I do think that that it is tough to sort of get recognition in a really saturated market, you know, and to be able to write the query letter and I'll say my best advice for people to try to get some attention is the complete scattershot approach. Copy, paste, send it to absolutely every agency, agent, you know, that's a numbers game at some point, and somebody will notice it and, you know, really want to take a look at it and talk to you. And, you know, I always say, like, how many people have actually finished writing a book? I mean, I think the stats are pretty low on like finishing it and then being at a place to even send it out. So if you're at that stage, like, that's amazing. And, you know, I feel like if you really kind of just get that in the right hands and don't stop sending it, you know, to you know, there's even small, instead of just agencies, when I started, I did the small and mid-level publishers, the ones that will take a query without, you know, an agent submission. And, you know, a lot of people will email you back and they'll talk you through it. And some of them might even say, you know, I wish that it kind of took this direction. Can we talk about some changes? But I think if you keep at it, like, you know, someone will take notice.
And do you want to share your journey to publication, Seraphina?
Yeah, I mean, I had never read a thriller before. I've told this story a few times, but I was I was directing a play at the university, and it's about an hour away, and I teach online now, so I was there every day, every night for rehearsal. So I decided to do an audiobook for the first time in 2019, I think. And so I listened to a Ruth Ware book on audio, and I love her to this day. She's one of my favorites. And the play closed in October, and I had some time off, and I'm like, that's what I'm going to do. Why aren't I doing that? And then I just wrote a book really quickly. Someone's listening, and I finished it by Christmas. So 3 months, and then I got an agent by January, and yeah, and then we got like a 3-book deal by the end of like February or something like that. So I don't tell that because it's annoying. That's an obnoxious story. It's not everybody's journey. But it's not, I mean, I do have quite a playwriting background. I was actually writing Hallmark Christmas movies before that. So it didn't come out of nowhere, like I'd never written anything before, right? I know, but so I feel like that story is actually more discouraging to aspiring writers because I know that's not necessarily, everyone's journey. But I do think that I sat there and sent it to like probably 500 places. I didn't worry about no simultaneous submissions. I'm like, at some point, this is going to hit somewhere. And I happened to kind of fall into a little bit of luck with it.
Yay. Well, fun story. Ruth Ware has been on Mavens 3 times and is coming back next month for her next book as well. So full circle moment. You can join us live.
It was my inspiration. Yeah, for sure.
When I put Ruth in the hot seat for the 4th time next month. Sharon saying, I can tell that you are a good soul by the way that you are answering everyone's questions, especially when you said to leave goodness in the world. Oh, what a lovely comment. Thank you.
That's so nice.
That is very, very lovely. Okay, our second question submitted in advance is from Alan. He wants to know, how has Seraphina's playwright career or experience impacted her thriller writing?
I think I say this a lot as well, but playwriting is harder than writing a thriller, I'll say. I think playwriting is the hardest genre to write in. And, between screenplay, I wrote, so On a Quiet Street, I think you probably know, we have a movie deal, limited series deal with that one. And I wrote the screenplay for it in advance. And I did some Hallmark stuff in the past. And that felt, like a gift compared to trying to write a play. I could change scenes. I could have something blow up if I wanted to. You can't do any of that on stage. And then writing a novel, you have even more space to explore and to develop than you do in a screenplay. And so I just feel like the parameters with which you have to stay within to write a play. And then, it's actually a little bit demoralizing sometimes when you're, I was in my 20s when I started to write this play. You're rehearsing for months. You have the actors and the sound guy and the light guy and the director and and 5 people show up to opening night. It's a tough road, right? But I loved it, really sort of led me to just loving, the written word and all that you could kind of do with creating it yourself and not just taking some old play that's been done 1,000 times. So it was very sort of liberating in a way, but very difficult. So when I got to write a thriller and had all this space and time to develop it and control, it's not collaborative, those are great, but you have to really rely on a lot of other interpretations and you get all the greedy control over a book. So yeah, I think it really, really, I tell my students playwriting is like classical training to any genre that you want to move into. It's really just harder.
Great question. Okay, last question from Robin. She needs to know, which Ruth Ware book was it? I'm wondering too.
I want to say, is it called In a Dark, Dark Wood? I know there's a play called In a something like that.
Yes.
Play has a really similar title.
That's one about the bachelorette party. Yes.
And then I think I binged. So Imogen Church, I think I equally fell in love with her. She's the narrator, and she's narrated every single one of Ruth Ware's books. So she was a narrator on my book, On a Quiet Street. And when I talked to the publisher in advance, and I know you usually send me some Audible narrators to choose from. What can I do to get this particular narrator on this book? Because I just adored her so much. So, that really felt like it came full circle. I was over the moon about that. So yeah, I've loved everything she's written, and especially listening to it because of her narrator, because I'm an audiobook nerd.
Oh, I love that. You were able to get the same narrator for your book. What a full circle, beautiful moment. It must have been so meaningful to the narrator.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
It's surreal to just feel like you're listening to this thriller and you love it. And it seems so otherworldly that these people over here write books and get published, and it's just not, it's a pipe dream, and it's who gets commercially published. That doesn't happen, So to even be sitting here really is just a little bit surreal still to this day. I'm kind of forget half the time. On pub day, I'm usually like, tomorrow I'm doing laundry and I'm, walking the dog, and I'm like, oh my God, I got a book published today. Sometimes you kind of forget, you have this whole other world going on behind the scenes in your, in your life. So it's pretty cool. It is a full circle moment for sure.
Yay. All right, y'all, we are out of time. Time flies when you're having this much fun. So the book is not even out yet. Seraphina is coming on to give us the exclusive inside peek, give us the scoop on all the good things on the Vacancy in room 10. So pre-order tonight, fam. Let's get those pre-orders out. And the good folks at Murder by the Book, our favorite woman-owned, independent, Texas-based bookstore, one of 3 dedicated mystery and thriller bookstores in the country, will ship this book out to you. So here again is that link, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us, Seraphina, Nova Glass. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll be back at the top of the hour with Bob Dagoni here to give us the inside scoop on A Killing on the Hill. So go get yourself a snack, a drink, and get your butts back here. I will see you then. Seraphina, thank you so much for giving us the inside scoop. Hold your book up. Hold your book up.
Oh,
there we go. Thank you so much for giving us this one on the Vacancy. Yay! Look at all those hearts flying up on Facebook, y'all. Thank you so much for being with us, and we look forward to celebrating your launch with me. And please come back and chat with us when your next one drops as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yay! All right, y'all. I'll be back soon.
All right, good